Welcome to a new video, and in this video we want to check out an iOS device against an Harmony OS device. We want to compare the software a little bit and want to really dig deep into if Harmony OS really is just an UI clone of iOS. So let's get started. So here on the left we have the iPhone XR or XR, which is running the latest iOS beta version of iOS 15. And here you go, unlocked, and whoops, unlocked the Harmony OS device, the Mate 30 Pro, and those are the two devices. And what we can see here are similarities, just like, for example, the icons that look pretty much the same, with the same roundings that you can see here, but the icons on the iOS are a little bit bigger, I would say. Now let's check out the widgets. We can see here one weather widget, and we can see here one Celia widget. You can also go in here and you can see here that the widgets are pretty similar. What we can see here also is when we go to folders and we just say, okay, we want to enlarge the maps folders, for example. We have such a folder here, and that reminds me a bit of the app library that you have on iOS as well, where you can directly start, for example, Safari here from the library, and you can also do here maps.me, for example, from the folder. So this is pretty similar, as you can see here, in terms of how it works. When it comes to adding new widgets, this is what I can do here. Shrink this and I can move it around. When it comes to adding new widgets, it's a bit similar, it's a bit different here. So what I have to do on iOS is long press on the desktop, everything starts to wiggle, and I can then go in here in this mode and choose my new widgets that I want to add, as you can see here, for example, from my photos library. And here I have a different option. So if I am, for example, in here and have my music widget, I can go in here and say pin this widget, and this will be then pinned in here. Of course, this is the new method on Harmony OS. Of course, you can also do this and go to widgets, and then you have the option to scroll through the list of widgets. In my opinion, this is like a very old method. You only see 3 widgets at the same time. And yeah, maybe Harmony OS in the future should update this to a nice list like on iOS. So this is one option that you get to add widgets. When it comes to overall user experience and movement, for example, user UI experience, you have also very similar things. Like, for example, if I swipe down from the top left corner, I get to my notifications, and the same goes on my HUAWEI device, Harmony OS, also notifications. As well, from the right I get to my control center, and the same also on Harmony OS, and you can see how similar it looks in terms of controls as well. The only big difference is that we have now 4 controls here on iOS, and we have 2 controls here, which are the main controls, I would say. I can turn off Bluetooth, for example, or I can turn it on. I have also the arrow, so if I click on the Bluetooth here, I can see all my Bluetooth devices. This is something that is a bit hidden on the iOS. I only have those buttons to enable or disable Bluetooth, for example. If I want to scan for Bluetooth device, I have to press and hold longer, then I get a bigger icon which tells me also where I'm connected to. This is something that this one does automatically, or shows you directly, has a space to directly show you connected Bluetooth devices or even Wi-Fi devices. And then I can also only turn off and on. What I have to do to see my Bluetooth devices is press and hold longer again, and then it will list all Bluetooth devices that I can connect to. And the same goes for the Wi-Fi as well. For privacy reasons, I'm not showing you all the Wi-Fis around here. But yeah, this is a bit of cumbersome user interface, but you can see that it's similar, but it is in a way different. What is not different, and you can see clearly that Harmony OS was inspired by Apple, is the media playing widget. If I click on it here, I can click on it as well. You can see pretty similar. We have this top right corner where we can choose which device to play on, and we have the same here where it just shows where the sound output is going to. So this is pretty much the similar and very similar design in this case. What is different are the controls for volume. Here we don't have volume control, and the slider for the brightness. So here we have a slider for the brightness, and here we have also a slider for brightness, which is like horizontally aligned instead of vertically aligned. And we have some other switches here as well. We have the new focus mode for iOS 15, and we have, of course, torchlight and some other things, which is also hiding in here, but we can also extend this. We can also edit the icons that we want to have on the Harmony OS device. So we can go into the edit mode here and say edit switches, and then we can edit all the switches and add some new switches into this panel and menu. But this is pretty similar, as you can see here. This looks a bit like a combination of the iOS control center with the Android possibility of quick toggles, which I think is pretty good. Then we have some very interesting new super device option on the Harmony OS. I already told you about it, and my MatePad Pro is like now here, and I can, if I want to, I can connect my MatePad Pro to my Mate 30 Pro and then create a super device. So this is this. When it comes to like no SIM, both show the no SIM symbol connected to Wi-Fi on the same side, and the battery percentage, just like activated NFC and so on. When it comes to settings, let's go into settings here. You can see the settings icon is almost the same. We have almost the same layout. At the top we have Huawei ID or Apple ID. We have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity and all the other connectivities. We have home screen and design changes. We have also the focus mode here. We have sound and other stuffs here as well. So you can see it is pretty similar, a bit more dense on iOS, but also with this colorful icons at the left and the text at the right. I have to say I like the Harmony OS way a bit better, because it's like letting it a bit more space and bigger font to read all the options. And here I think there's a bit convoluted options on iOS. The animations you can see, let's go into settings again. It's pretty much the same. Also closing animations is the same. Maybe I bring down this icon. No, I want to just move it here. Exactly, so I can show you at the same position, so it might be more immersive. It's super fluid. I don't see much of a difference. It's super fluid, so you can see in terms of animations, they are almost the same. Also the top animation here. Also there's the same little jiggle at the end. Yeah, I think it's pretty much the same when it comes to this. What else? What do we have else? We have like a swipe down option here to search and get some suggestions. We have the same for Huawei, but for Huawei always takes a second to load. It's not as fluid as and direct as on iOS. As you can see, it's directly there, as if it was always there hiding in the background. And here it takes like takes a second to think, and especially if you don't use it a lot, it is like needs to relaunch, and then it takes like a little bit longer even. But it also has suggested apps at the top, gives you some history as well, most searched apps, and even top searches that are currently running on the internet. So this is an option. When it comes to keyboards, for example, let's go into here. I can show you the keyboards. I have now the Celia keyboard here enabled. What we can see here, a big difference is that Apple for some reason has like this bar at the bottom, and the whole keyboard, the virtual keyboard, is moving up for some reason. And yeah, you don't have this here because we have dedicated language chooser or language change button here. Is it changing actually the language? I don't even know. Yeah, it is changing the language. If you press once, it changes the language, and here you get a menu to change the language. So yeah, this is in terms of keyboard the difference. And yeah, this is basically everything. What we can see here is that, of course here I don't have any newsfeed. What we can see here clearly is that Harmony OS is definitely inspired by iOS, with certain things like the control center definitely copied over, but improved in a way, just like you can single tap to go into your Wi-Fi, single tap to go to your Bluetooth devices and switch between the devices. And yeah, combination of the Android quick toggles as well as other new features that you can see here. In terms of animations, both run fluid, and I would say I don't see much of a difference. Both have 60 Hz displays, and you don't see much difference in terms of fluidity. They have both, there's no swipe up gesture or something like this. Both use the gesture to switch between open application. You can see they have slightly different ways of switching applications, but you can see it is also the same blur in the background and same nice animations going in. So it is very interesting, very similar indeed. So if people say that Harmony copies or clones the iOS UI, it is partly true. In most ways they are definitely inspired by it and improve upon it using some Android and their own kind of additions to it. So this is basically everything for this little comparison between iOS and Harmony OS in terms of UI and user experience. Write down in the comment section, what do you think? Is Harmony OS an UI clone of iOS or just very heavily inspired by iOS? That's everything for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Until the next time. Bye.